Good evening, everyone. Hello, good to see you. All right, so first of all, we're going to be checking if you can hear and see us properly. All right, I have my own phone here. All right, then please let us know in the chat if you can see and hear us. Be great if you can help us out. So I can see myself on my own smartphone. So for me, it's working. But is it working for anyone else? Yes. Can you hear us, see us properly too? Sorry for the lights. I'm pretty sure the screen is a little bit shining, but it's due to the lights in the dojo, by the way. We have one person that said yes for us.
フラット、フラッ
Yes, we can get started.
ト、フラット、フラット。
All right, so then everyone, then I guess we'll like to start taking a look at some of your questions. You know what? I'm actually probably going to be just looking at my own phone, so I have to be looking at the side of the screen every single time. はい、では見ていきましょう。皆さん、いいですね。お、いいですね。Iceburn, thank you very much for your question. How is Asayama Ichiden different from other schools such as 香取神道流 or 新影流ですね。Asayama Ichiden流は香取神道流や新影流とどういった点が違いますかという質問ですけれども。
ざっくりやね。
だいぶざっくりした。That's a broad question. もうバッと一つだけでも全然。こういうところは、あとは新影流とこういうところ、結局一年流の特徴は何ですかっていう質問と一緒ですよね、結局は。はい。
新影流の影響は多少あります。
ああ、そうなんですね。
とのものとして入ってきてるのでね。
ああ、なるほど。
ただ一伝流の解釈になってるので、そういう意味では違ってきますけども。
はい。
そうですね。一伝流、香取神道流と比べたときに、
はい、
そうですね。一伝流の場合は太刀で太刀を接触した時の反動を利用するっていうのがね、結構多いですね。
なるほど。はい。
香取さんにはそれがあまりないように見受けられますね。友達の連続で、本当はここで切れるんだけどという形を受けて止めてみたいな形で長い型になっていると。
っていうところが
ね。
はい、わかりました。
一伝流の場合は相手の技を相手の剣を撃ち落とした弾みとか、撃ち落とされたところの
力を使って
とかいうのがうちは多いですので。
なるほど。はい、ありがとうございます。So first of all, the two ryuha that you mentioned, the Katori Shinto Ryu and Shinkage Ryu. First of all, Seki Sensei answered that Shinkage Ryu, we've taken some influences from the ryuha. Yeah, because Shinkage Ryu was a ryuha that was done by the higher rank samurai in the past, and Asayama Shinryu has that color as well. However, it's not, of course, completely exactly the same or anything. We just have some colors from Shinkage Ryu. And Katori Shinto Ryu and Ichiden Ryu, Asayama Shinryu are ryuha. The biggest difference is that in Asayama Shinryu, in our Kenjutsu, we use a lot of techniques where we use the opponent's energy. For example, the opponent tries to hit you, you block, you swing away, parry away, for example, the opponent's sword, and then the opponent uses that energy against you, but you parry that, and then you use that energy against them, kind of thing. If you've been watching our videos, you'll probably be able to find about that, but that's probably one of the biggest characteristics. Many other ryuha tend to just stop whenever you get hit. You stop, you block it, you use your own energy to bring your sword up and then attack again. You parry, you bring your sword up on your own energy, and then you attack again. So that's completely different. That's probably one of the biggest characteristics and differences, I would say. And one thing, somebody said, お元気、こんにちは、関先生、お元気ですかって言ってらっしゃる方がいらっしゃいますね。
元気ですけど、暑い。
今言おうと思ったんですよ。So I was just about to say, お元気ですか means how are you, by the way? Yes, we are okay. But I came to this dojo today around 3 p.m., 2 p.m., I think. And so I've been in this dojo for about 8.5 hours. But it's around 40 degrees Celsius inside the dojo. For about 8 hours, we've been training and filming inside this environment. So if you can look at my face, I'm actually half dead, but I'm barely alive. So if my English is not very good today, please forgive me. That's the reason why. We've been training and filming for 8 hours in 40 degrees Celsius in this dojo. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much for your comments. I'm reading all of them. Alright, thank you. Hello, Sensei and Shogo. I've been very curious to ask for a long time now what Seki Sensei feels about mixing techniques from various styles, such as kata, which combine techniques from two ryuha. Oh, okay, techniques such as kata, which combine techniques from two ryuha. It's a good question. なんかこの方の質問では、まあ、技によってこういろんな流派の技をこう混ぜて作ってるような、まあ、流派だったりとかそういう技だったりもあるんですけど、例えば、まあ、自分はもともと何々やってたからそれを混ぜて作りましたみたいな、例えばそういうのがもし、まあ、もしがあった場合、先生のお考えはいかがですかっていう、そういう2つ以上
海外によくあるってことなのかな。
いや、どうなんですかね、この方がそういったことはないんですけど、そういった方が多分いたんですかね、この方がご覧になられた方で。はい。
いたずらに混ぜるのは違うよね。
なるほど。はい。
確かに昔の人が流儀を立てていくときに、2人の師匠についてね、違う流派を学んで、
なるほど。
で自分なりのものが出てきちゃってどうしようもないと。これはそのまま流儀をあれするわけにいかんとね、いうところで流儀を割ってくるというようなことが流派の立て方の一つとしてあるんですよ。
なるほど、なるほど、なるほど。はい。
ただ昔はね、お墨付きってのもらってたんでね。その上でやるんだよね。
許可というか。
そう。
特別な。
そう。
面白いですね。
目録なり免許なりいただいて、でそれがそこの流派のスタートの段階での権威になっていくわけです。後ろ盾になっていくわけね。
なるほど。
でそれがないとできないんですよ、昔は。自分勝手なことやったらね、暗殺されますよ。
そうですね、確かに。
今の時代そんなことないでしょうけどね。
そう、ありがとうございます。面白いですね、すごく。
だからむやみにやるのは良くないね。
そうですね。何の根拠もなく。
習って混ぜて僕の流みたいなのはあんまりよろしくない。
そうですよね。
そんな簡単なものじゃないです。
そうですね。何でもありになりますからね。
何でもありになっちゃう。
Thank you very much for your question, by the way, Sean Velson. About your question about mixing ryuha and techniques from different ryuha styles. Seki Sensei's answer was, first of all, it's not something that you should just randomly do without permission or without experience, of course. In the past, whenever a swordsman or any martial artist in Japan, it could be a samurai, for example, if they wanted to create a new ryuha from the different techniques that they've learned, for example, if you learn under 2 or 3 different instructors, masters and such, it was possible. It was possible that you combined the things that inside your head, you created a new technique, and there's no way that you can call it in a ryuha that already exists. So you want to create a new one. That did happen in the past. However, those people who are allowed to create their own ryuha would be very special students who would be given permission from their masters. Yes, and then that would actually be like, for example, it could be a certificate, it could be I don't know the English word, but there are these paperwork basically that only the headmasters are allowed to own. If you were able to take a part of that, for example, receive a part of that, then you might barely be able to, of course, create your own ryuha and such and mix these different techniques together. But otherwise, it's not something that you could just do. In the past, you would probably be as I was saying, probably be killed by someone if you did that without permission. Today, of course, that wouldn't happen. Yeah, but still, it's just not very, what should I say, something you wouldn't do. Yeah, exactly, historically.
今僕が言ったこと。
はい、そうです。暗殺されますよっていうところ。
昔ね。
はい、そうですね。
で必ずね、あと付け加えればね、そういう形でさ、昔はやるわけですよ、流派を立てる。でそれも一つの独立の形なんですよ。
なるほど。はい
ね、そのまんまの流派で出るんじゃなくて、一つの違う形の独立なんで、ですからその元の師匠と流儀を立てた後でも円満な関係じゃないとダメなんですよ。
そうですよね。
だから僕ね、年始には、師匠様ご無沙汰しておりますって挨拶言っておうっていうね、関係が保たれてないのはダメで、この頃はだから ね、武道会がちょっと乱れているところもあって、
へー
破門されちゃったから流儀立てるみたいな。
ああ、なるほど。
とんでもない話だよね。一切排すべきでしょ。それはね。で、そんなことをしてて何が武道ですかって話だ。
そうですね。はい。
武道になってないですよね。道になって
い。
ないですよ、それ
はい、そうですね。
破門されて、ね、
はい
流派名乗っちゃいかん言われて、
うん
じゃあ違う名前みたいな。それはちょっと違うんじゃないかなって。また違うものゼロからやったらいいんじゃないって。
そうですね。
受け入れてもらえるならね。今の時代はね、いろいろ問題があって、
はい、
それ自体がね、法的にやれないかったりするんですよ。
へえ、そうなんですか。
昔はだから破門状改装するとか、そうすると全部の流派の先生がもうこの人はって言って受け入れないっていう。昔はね、だけど今はそれ破門はできても、それ自体がこっちが悪くなっちゃうんですよ。必要にそれを言いふらすと。
なるほどなるほど。
だからそれをいいことに流派立てちゃうのな。
それは有識自体ですね。
ちょっと違うんですよ。道になってないっていうね。
わかりました。
So a little bit more to the story we were just talking about. So basically, starting your own ryuha by combining different techniques together that you've learned is a form of you becoming independent from your master. Basically, it could be like, for example, starting your own dojo, for example, and teaching new students somewhere else that's away from your master. It's a form of becoming independent. That means what Seki Sensei was saying was that means that it needs to be in a way that you have a good relationship with your master. So recently, in the budo world in Japan today, there's been this very not so good. That's a really nice way to say it. Not so good. Not trend, but there are some people who, for example, they get kicked out of the dojo for example, doing something bad attitude. It could be, for example, doing harassing other people inside dojo. They get kicked out of the dojo. They got kicked out, so they create their own ryuha. That's not, a right way to actually start our own ryuha, but that's something that's been happening recently. In the past, that was impossible. The moment you got kicked out of one ryuha or one dojo, you won't be able to join anything else. You won't be able to start anything new and such. But recently, that's there's this new idea. I think it's based on law spice, basically. But some people say that that's violating human rights just because you got kicked out of one dojo, not being able to join a new dojo, or, for example, starting your own ryuha, that's violating human rights. So now, even if you get kicked out of a dojo or, have no relationship with your former master, you can do that. So from Seki Sensei's point of view, that's not the way a budo, do means path. Path should be carried on, basically. So that's another really interesting story, I thought. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. John and Keita さん見てくださってますね。John and Kate, good to see you. Thank you so much. 40 degrees. マジって書いてますね。マジです。
何がマジ
？40 degrees. 40度。
40
度マジって書いてますね。マジですよ。本当に。そうではありません。We're serious. We're very serious about that. Okay, where should we go? Oh, that's a really good question. Hello, Seki Sensei. Is using a Nagamaki can be learned in Asayama Ichiden ryu? Nagamaki の使い方ご存知ですかっていう。
Nagamaki はね、どこにもないんですよ。
ないんですか、もう全然。
伝えてる流派がない。
なんでなくなっちゃったんですかね。
なんか用途がなかったんでしょうね。で、おそらくNaginataとか、ああいうものに使いようが吸収されてっちゃったんじゃないですかね。
わざわざ別にする必要が。
で、あれもだいぶ後になってからはね、もう女の人がやるものだっていう風潮になってってね、明治とかね、中学校で奨励されたりしてね。
そうですよね。
うちにはKenjutsuの出来割りっていうのがあって、それの冒頭の所作、普通に木刀を使うんですけど、Nagamakiの所作を一部残すのみです。
構えの
こうやっててストーンって足元叩くやつね。入り方がNagamakiの名残っていうふうに言われている。
So first of all, there are no ryuha styles in Japan that teaches Nagamaki anymore. Yeah, and the reason I've been asking Sensei, basically the reason could be number one, because Naginata and Nagamaki, they look very similar. So basically the techniques might have been just absorbed into Naginata. The difference between a Naginata and Nagamaki, by the way, for those of you who don't know, they're both long pole weapons with a really long stick, and there's a blade on the end. But Nagamaki basically has a really long blade, whereas a Naginata has a shorter blade. So you can imagine a Uchikatana and a Wakizashi is really close to that, basically. So they're very similar, yeah. In the end, they're a very long pole weapon. So probably they got absorbed through history. No one did Nagamaki anymore, so they kind of the Naginata techniques probably absorbed that in. Number two, through the Meiji Restoration, Japan westernizing, the Naginata, the weapon itself, kind of became this culture became something for women, basically. And even today, there's the Naginata Do, where we actually use the bamboo Naginata to, for example, compete with each other. But most of the population, I think it was about around 90% of the population are actually done by women. And that's also another reason why many ryuha don't do Naginata either in the first place. So that's the reason why Nagamaki doesn't exist anymore. Thank you very much for your question. Sensei, do you trained karate in your life? 空手はされたことありますか？
ないです。
No, not at all. 空手はありません。No karate. All right. Oh, sorry. We had a super chat. Let me take a look. Monica, thank you very much. モニカさんまたスーパーチャットくださってますね。
どなた？
モニカさんです。
スーパーチャット。
はい、いつもありがとうございます。モニカさんありがとうございます。Thank you, Seki Sensei and Shogo, for all your great videos and shorts. They add such interesting content and enjoyment to the day. Thank you so much. もうただただシンプルですね。関先生、Shogo、いつも素晴らしい動画とショートありがとうございますと。毎日が楽しくなりますというふうに言ってくださっております。はい、
モニカさん？
そうです。動画を見て毎日楽しいですっていうふうに言ってくださっております。
応援してください。
Please keep on cheering us on. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, Seki Sensei and Shogo. In Asayama Ichiden, does the rule of longer than standard for the katana applies to the wakizashi and tanto? That's a really good question. Thank you. 一連流の打ち方の長さは、上数よりも長いものっていうふうに過去の動画にもおっしゃったと思うんですけれども、脇差しや単刀の場合もそれは適用されますかっていうその考え方は？
されません。
されません。はい。なるほど。
長いの使えっていうのは、これ居合の修行のためなんです。
なるほど。
上寸だとね、鞘さばきもね、忘れて、右手でひょいってできちゃうの。
必要なくなってしまう。
そう。だから修行のためになんで、決して長い方なんか実践に向くとか、そういう考え方をしてるわけじゃないので。
おー、なるほど。はい、そうです、
ね。稽古に特化するという意味です。長いの使えっていうのはね、居合の術を身につけるために。
はい。で、脇差しにはその鞘さばきとかないですよね。
関係ない。
片手で抜くものなんです。
関係ないです。
なるほど、ありがとうございます。So, but one really important thing that we want to understand, we've made many videos talking about that in our ryuha, as I mentioned, we use katana that are slightly longer than the standard size. And the reason why, we don't want you to misunderstand, the reason is because it's good for training. We're not trying to say that it's more practical. For example, in a real fight, they have to have a longer katana. It's better. That depends on the person and the situation. Yeah, we're just using longer katana because it's better for our drawing and sheathing practicing, basically. But the wakizashi, the tanto, you draw it with one hand. And there are no drawing and sheathing practicing that you do like you do with the uchikatana. So the wakizashi and tanto do not have any rules for longer than average kind of rules. You just choose the standard size, and that's completely fine. So the longer than standard rule only applies for the uchikatana. And again, I'm still in the 40 degrees dojo, by the way. So as I am talking, I'm starting to lose my consciousness. If my English is very weird, please forgive me. Once again, I want to tell you guys one more time for those who just joined.
脇差しもね、2尺超えちゃう、1尺9寸まででしょ。2尺超えると、もう大刀になっちゃうし、
そうです
ね。で、単刀もある程度の長さ超えると結局脇差しになって扱いになっちゃうんでね。
そこもありますよね、問題が。
戦国時代まで行くと関係ないんだけど。
And also the problem with wakizashi and tanto is that there's a certain length, there's a limit to how long it can be to be called a wakizashi or a tanto. If it gets any longer than that, it'll become a uchikatana, it'll become a wakizashi. So that's another problem as well. All right. John Apple, thank you very much for your comment. Good evening, Shogo. I have a question for Seki Sensei. Does he lift? What kind of physical exercise or training does he do to maintain his strength and fitness? 面白い質問ですね。ジョン・アップルさんから質問なんですけれども、筋トレされてらっしゃいますかっていう質問ですね。
してません。
その体力だったり筋力だったりっていうのはどのように維持なさってますかっていう質問をいただいております。
筋力の維持はあんまりしてないです。
なるほど。はい。
筋トレはしてないです。
それはもう必要ないからですか、武道において。
必要な部類のものもあるとは思うんですけど、浅山一伝流には必要ないです。
なるほど。So the straight answer to your question is no. He doesn't do any lifting. He doesn't do any workouts, by the way. That's one of the biggest reasons is because, as we explained many times in our videos, our Ryuha really focuses on being very flexible and being very gentle. For example, holding on to katana, you only connect 2 of your fingers together, so you're really holding on to it very loose when you hold on to a katana. So the more you have muscles, you tend to focus on your muscles, try to rely on your muscles to do the techniques, which is a big taboo in our Ryuha. So of course, there might be some muscles that are better to have. Of course, for health, for example, that's a completely different topic. For training our Ryuha, muscles are, big muscles are unnecessary, is Seki Sensei's answer. Thank you very much. Oh, I think we have another super chat. Thank you. Haywood Jablo me. Have you sent us a super chat before? It might be a couple of times before. Thank you very much. Can you and Sensei review techniques shown in video games like Soul Calibur? Lots of Kobu Jutsu there. Soul Calibur ってゲームご存知ですか？ Soul Calibur? 僕も全然知らないです。We don't know what that video game is. いつかゲームの動きとかにもぜひリアクトしてほしいですというふうな意見をいただいております。それこそすごく有名なゴースト・オブ・ツシマとかちょっとそういうのもやってくださいっていう意見はたくさんいただいてます。で、僕はちょっとそのために準備してたんですけど、あまりにもちょっともうコメントしようがないぐらいもうゲーム用の動きなので、これ持ってきてもちょっとまた次回から検討しますので。
人間にはできないよ。
そうだ、あまりにもちょっと、それこそ血振りで血がパーって取れたりとかするような感じなので、それもそれかっこいいが大事なので、それも含めてまたもしかしたらご意見いただけたら面白いかもしれないですけど、ちょっと次回以降やろうと思います。So, I've actually So first of all, we don't know the video game that you mentioned, and I have considered bringing videos to Seki Sensei so you can react to some video games, but some of those video games, well, most of the video game movements are a little bit too unrealistic that it's really hard to react to, basically, because it's just everything is just completely unrealistic, So I'll try to consider something and maybe bring something to Seki Sensei someday. But for now, I think we still have a lot of other videos that I want Seki Sensei to react to. So it might be sometime in the future, maybe. But I hope you can look forward to it. We'll do it someday. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Where did I leave off? Related to, according to Sensei, we really need many cut to kill indeed human by katana. 先生の考え方では実際に例えばゲームとかであるようなもう何とも切らないと人って死なないんですかねっていう質問なんですけど。
動脈一本で死にます。
そうですよね。
20秒ぐらいほっとけば。
そうですね。According to Sensei, we really need many cut to kill indeed human by katana. I think that's what probably your question is, do you really need to cut a person many times to actually defeat that person? The answer is no. What he answered was no. If you just cut one of the veins, about 20 seconds, you'll probably be able to defeat that person. So the answer will be no. Yeah, you don't have to go and chop up that person. You're not trying to make sushi with tuna or something. So
昔の日本人はね、剣術の稽古をねするのに。今の人って人を切る技術を学んでるという感覚だと思うんですよ。
なるほど。
でも昔の人はそこに同時に死ぬ覚悟を養うっていうこともあったんです。
なるほど。
人を切るってことは自分が切られる可能性もあると。ですから死ぬ覚悟を養うと。で、私が尊敬している歴史上のね、剣豪って平山幸三先生、あの先生がおっしゃってることがもうまさにそれでね、 剣術とはそれ標法はと、
はい。
戦場で潔く討ち死にするための覚悟を養う演習であると。
おー、なるほど。
死ぬまでがセットだっていうね。
いや、面白い話。ありがとうございます。
今は多分その感覚が欠落してるんだと思
ああ、なるほど。でそれでこう、切る方の、
う。切る方
どんだけ倒せるかみたいな、そっちの方に集中してしまっているってことですね。
そう
ああ、面白い話。ありがとうございます。So what Seki Sensei just explained for us right now is that today, us living today, we trainees, train with katana, tend to really focus on how we defeat the opponent. You know, how we cut the opponent, where we cut, how we throw him, how we kick him, all that kind of stuff. But in the past, for example, when the samurai still existed and such, the purpose of training Kenjutsu was not just to learn how to kill someone, but also to defeat someone with a katana, but also to basically train yourself, train your readiness to die in a battle. That was the more important purpose of training Kenjutsu. Yeah. For example, as a warrior, you don't want to be, for example, on the battlefield, you don't want to be crying, for example, I don't want to die. No, you don't want to do that kind of stuff, right? So you're trying to train your readiness to die on the battlefield as you train in the formality, basically. So yeah, today we really focus on how we actually defeat, but that's not the only purpose of training Japanese budo, is what Seki Sensei mentioned for us. I think that's a really, really interesting story, and I think that's he thinks that's one of the really important lessons that should be taught through budo, which is not taught today to many people. Yeah. Basically, by understanding how you can actually take away someone's life, or you can be taken away your life from someone, makes death closer to life. Which in an older video he explained is that it helps you to refine your soul, basically. Yeah, you can be thankful for things that when you're just living your daily life, you'll be able to be thankful for more things. Yeah, in the past that was the case. When you're with the family, when you have food, for example, you'll be able to be more thankful. So that's one of the important lessons that tend to be forgotten today. Yeah. All right.
昔の人は
はい、
その死に際をどうするかってことをね、こだわったんですよ。
そうですよね。
それをね、表すね、有名な言葉としてね、
はい、
愚足の結構は求めず、兜はよくよく吟味せよ、首に添えて敵に行くものなりと。っていうことで、首と胴体が離れたら、胴体はほったらかしやと。ただ首は持ってかれるんです。名前が高い人ほど持ってかれる。その時、兜首ですよ。ね。だから兜はよそに行くものだから、一丁羅にせよって。なるほど。よそのうちにちゃんとおめかししていきなさいっていう。
すごいですね。
それでもっと気の利いた武将は、首が落とされた時に悪臭がしないように、兜の中にお香を焚いてたっていう。そこまで持ってかれる、敵に持ってかれる首に、敵にそれまで気を使う。で持ってった方も礼を尽くして、化粧して紅さして、血色良くして飾ってあげるっていうね。
すごいですね。
そうだから死の美学なんですよね。
まあ武士道とは死ぬことないとか見たりもしますけどもね、やっぱり死っていう言葉がね、本当に。
武士道とは死ぬことと見つけたりっていうのはね、また違う意味だっていう説がある。
そうなんですね。それとはまた、
公務員とかサラリーマンと一緒でね。そういう意味。死んだつもりなきゃなんなきゃやってらんねっていう理不尽。
なるほど。それもそれでまた
そっちの意味だっていう。
そっちの意味だっていう可能性も
説があるんですよ。
なるほど。いや面白い。
要するにね、上と下との板挟みでってよくあるでしょ。
まあ江戸時代のね、侍の話ですからね、これは。なるほど。
いろいろあるんですよ。川柳でもね、切腹の仕方教えて可愛がりなんていう歌があるんですよ。要するに13歳で元服するでしょ。そうと昔は切腹の仕方を教えるのも一つの教育であって可愛がってるんだと。なんともっていう、そういう直接受け取ればそういう意味なんですよ。でも実は違う裏の意味があるっていう説もあってね。要するに戦場に友侍連れていくでしょ。女性連れていけないでしょ。切腹ってそういう意味だっていう。
なるほど。なるほど、なるほど。
そういう説もあるんですよ。それ皮肉ってんだって。
なるほど。
Yeah, going a little bit back to the story of samurai and death, by the way. Samurai is really focused on how they died, basically. You might have, we were just earlier talking about Hagakure as well, talking about Bushido is about dying, about death. And as a warrior, how you end your life, how you die as a warrior was really important for a samurai. So there was a saying that says that you can wear any type of shoes, shoes of the armor, by the way. You can wear any armor on the shoes, but wear a very decorative, beautiful helmet, because that's going to be with your head if you lose. So this is the basic idea of the samurai, and some samurai actually had incense, this good smelling incense inside their helmet, for example, just in case if they get their heads cut off and taken by their enemies, because the enemy will take your head. It's after the fight to prove that they defeated you. You don't want to smell bad. So some samurais actually had incense inside their helmets. So this is one of the basic philosophies, I guess, ideas that the samurais had towards death and life also. So that is reflected, that should have been reflected to their martial arts that they trained into. Okay, thank you so much. Well, it's already 30 minutes. I guess it's about time we have to go. John and Kate, thank you very much for a super chat. Thank you very much. The number one balloons, that's really cute. Thank you. Super sticker, super chat, I'm not too sure, but okay. Go back a little bit. All right, thank you so much. Let me try to find one last question we can read, because we're going to be filming for another 6-7 hours tomorrow, and I definitely need the rest. So, okay. Actually, many thanks from Josh. Would Seki Sensei be able to share any meditation practices or preparation techniques? ジョシさんですね。MVP のジョシさんからもスーパーチャットいただきまして、これちょうど30分超えたので、最後の質問にいいですね。ジョシさんの方からですね。Thank you very much, Josh. 稽古に入る前の、メディテーション、瞑想ですね。だったりとか、気持ちを整える。それこそ演舞の前とかでもいいかもしれないですね。ただのお稽古じゃなくても。何かそういう方法はありますかっていう先生の中で。
私の中で。
はい、気持ちを整える。
私の場合はね、あんまり集中しないことです
ね。逆に瞑想とかしてなんかイレギュラーというか、
普通になるべく普通にしてて、でポッて出てった時に、何ができるかっていうところでね、先代にそういうふうに鍛えられてるんで。
なるほど。どのようにですか、具体的に。
だから準備体操、極端なこと言えばよ、準備体操してから喧嘩する人いるかっていう。
そうですね。そうですね。武道ですからね。
俺らってエル首取られた時に何ができるかって問題でしょっていうところね。武道。
なるほど。
スポーツとちゃうんだよってね。いうところで。
それはそうですよね。実際
だから体のメンタルはね、メンタルでそれは大事なんですけど、時になんていうんですかね。急に思い立った時にふっと刀を取って抜いてみると。実はそれこそが身についたことなんだって。そこでできた程度が。一生懸命準備体操して素振りして万全にしてからあって上手にできる。それはそうですよって。
そうですね。
だけどおもむろにふっと思った時に刀を手に取ってパッて抜いてやってみる。その時になってる、それがその人の実は身についたことであって程度であるっていうね。
朝起きてすぐに演舞するみたいな感じですね。
そう。もう若い頃はね、そういうことやってみたことある。
本当ですか。
稽古したいけど我慢してね。で、どうしてもしたいってなった時に、いきなり着替えて刀刺して5本だけ抜いてみる。そうするとね、思うようにできないんですよ。でもそれが本当の自分の姿。
なるほど。先生ご自身は瞑想されたりとか、preparation techniques の準備の技術っていう意味なんですけど、そういうのは逆にだからないっていうことですよね。なるほど、面白い。Josh, for your answer, by the way, was really interesting for me too. Josh is one of our members of our online lessons, by the way. He's an amazing student. But so his answer was he doesn't know no preparations, basically. He does not prepare anything, does no meditation, for example. He just goes upon, for example, for
performance and such. Just goes up there and does what he can, because that's what his master, the predecessor of Asayama, the 21st headmaster, has taught him. Do you do a warm up before you fight with someone? Like for example, if you start a fight with someone, do you get time to stretch your legs and arms? If not, that's not what you should be doing in budo. So what he was saying, for example, is when you right now, for example, pick up your sword and do a technique. Yeah. Do a kata for us. You know a lot of kata, right, Josh? So if you do it right now with no preparations, you just pick up a sword, and that what you can do at that level is your level. That's your true level. Doing a lot of warm-ups, doing a lot of meditations, I'm ready and doing it is not the original teaching that Seki Sensei has been given from his master. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. So does he do any meditation? Does he do any preparation techniques? He has nothing. Yeah, he goes up there and does it, and that's his level. That's what he always understands. Exactly. So that's how you would be on a battlefield, right? So, okay.
私の場合は恵まれてたんですよ。こう家庭がね、小さい頃から武道をやってきて、緊張する場面とか、ね、急にやんなさいとかね、そういう経験が人より多いんですよ。
ああ、なるほど。
だから途中で気づいたんですけど、そういうことよりも突然やってくださいって言われて、今は俺の時間って言ってふっと入れないと、そこでポンと出されてふっと心をまとめるってことができないとどうしようもない。何やってるか分かんないうちに終わっちゃう。
そうですね。
そうだから自然とね、そういうことが何もしなくても普通の気持ちでいて、はいやってって言った時にふっと自分の中に入るっていうのが自然とこう運がいいんですね。そういう環境で育てられたっていう意味でね。
なるほど。So Seki Sensei also added that he grew up in such an environment. He's been learning and training in Budo martial arts, for instance, was very, very young. He started originally Kendo from 3 and then started iaido from 9 years old, for example. And he had a lot of opportunities where he just got pushed on stage, basically. Or any kind of stage is just an example, it could be anything. Yeah, just pushed on stage and had to immediately, for example, perform a couple of kata. He had a lot of opportunities of doing that. So for example, he's super used to that. He is able to, for example, he gets immediately pushed on stage and then he's able to switch on, his mentality basically without any meditation, without any extra preparations. He's able to basically put the switch on. He knows how to do it through all these experiences. And I really agree, I should say. I can personally feel that too, because whenever we film videos, for example, in this dojo, and we film videos that you guys are watching, we don't have any preparation times. Like we don't have any time that we check each kata. We don't have any time that we, for example, rehearse anything. We don't do any of that. We get started, we start the camera, and then we do everything. Yes, without any talking, everything happens, and you can explain everything already. Yeah, so I can definitely feel that from working with him too. Yes.
今はね、今度別な修行してるんです
よ。あ、そうなんですか。はい。
門下生のやること心配しながら自分のことちゃんとしなきゃいけないんで。
なるほど。
人の心配しながらね、人の心配ばっかりしてて、ああってピッてやんなきゃいけないんで。
そうですよね。そこの気持ちの切り替えも必要ということで。はい、面白いですね。今はもう
弟子の心配ばっかしてますから。
And right now he's actually training himself. He's struggling with something different, and it's about worrying about his students. By the way, yeah. When they're training, for example, he doesn't want them to get hurt by accident, for example, and all these kind of things. And this is what his mentality is being swung by this right now, exactly. And this is a new experience for him. Yeah. このウェイキングベアさんのスティーブンさんですね。いつもいらっしゃるオンラインです。はい、スティーブンさんも、いつもありがとうございますと言ってらっしゃいますね。で、土曜日のレッスン以外で、外でお二人見れるの嬉しいですとよろしく言ってくださっております。はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you very much for your super chat. Waking Bear, Konbanwa Shogo and Sensei. No question, just happy to see you too outside of our Saturday class. Steven-san, by the way. Yes, Steven, good to see you. Thank you so much. All right, then it has been more than 38 minutes actually, and I am starting to lose my voice and my consciousness, so it's about time for me to go. I will leave the archive of this video, changing the title and such, so it'd be great if you can rewatch it if you missed any parts of it. And if you have any other questions, by the way, you can let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to ask Seki Sensei for you. I'll try to make as many videos as soon as possible, because I'm really hoping to reach 100,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So it'd be great if you can help us out by sharing your videos, by the way. And it's also this live stream too and such. Okay?
All right, then. Thank you so much for all of your comments. I've been reading all of your comments. I just haven't been able to read them out loud, by the way. I hope to see you possibly next month. Hopefully. We'll see how that goes. お疲れ様です。皆さん来ておりますね。はい。では、ありがとうございました。Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. はい、終わりにします。40分経っておりますので。はい。さよなら。Thank you so much, everyone.